Hello, ladies. Have you ever felt like you gave everything to someone, and in return all you got was silence, neglect, or regret? Imagine this. While you are healing, rising, and reclaiming your peace, he is panicking, unsure, and realizing what he lost. Today, I want to tell you why your silence, your strength, and your self-love are more powerful than any words ever could be, and how staying true to yourself can make him see not with arguments, but with awe, the force that you really are. Life has a way of balancing itself. When you choose healing, you choose peace. You choose to rebuild yourself, piece by piece, without noise, without proving anything to anyone. In that silence, your strength grows, and while you're healing, someone else is panicking. The one who once thought you would always break, who believed you would always chase, now feels the weight of your silence. They panic not because you are gone, but because they see you no longer need them. Silence is your shield. It speaks louder than words. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. You don't need to defend yourself to those who never valued your voice. The most powerful thing you can do is stay quiet and let your growth do the talking. Panic belongs to them. Healing belongs to you. The more you focus on your own journey, the more they are forced to sit with their regrets. They realize that the very silence they once mocked has now become the wall they cannot climb. So don't break it, don't rush it, don't respond just to ease their fear. Stay silent, heal in peace, because the truth is, your silence is not weakness, it is victory. It is the proof that while they are drowning in panic, you are rising in strength. Healing is not a quick fix. It's not a matter of days or even weeks. It's a personal journey that demands patience, self-awareness, and the courage to face yourself in your rawest form. Healing requires you to stop seeking validation from others, to stop looking for approval or reassurance from those who may not even understand the depth of your pain. It's a process that often feels lonely because true healing is internal. You confront your fears, your regrets, your mistakes, and even your strengths, all in silence. It's about learning to sit with discomfort without running, to embrace the moments that make you feel vulnerable, and to allow yourself the grace to grow slowly. Healing is an act of rebellion against the chaos that may have surrounded you. It is a refusal to let the mistakes of the past define your present or dictate your future. In this journey, silence becomes your ally. You do not need to explain every step, justify every emotion, or prove your progress to anyone. Healing is private because it is sacred. Every small step, whether it's choosing to forgive, choosing to let go, or simply choosing to breathe through a difficult day, is a victory. Every boundary you set, every habit you change, every thought you redirect toward positivity is a brick in the foundation of your new self. And while the world might not always see your progress, it is being built nonetheless, stronger than before, more resilient than ever, and untouched by the noise around you. Silence is one of the most underestimated forms of power. In a world where people rush to react, argue, or explain themselves, choosing to stay silent is revolutionary. When someone expects you to break, to chase, or to beg for attention, your silence becomes a mirror reflecting their true character. It is in these quiet moments that your strength is most visible, not through words, but through your composure, your calm, and your refusal to be drawn into chaos. Staying silent does not mean weakness. It does not mean avoidance. It is not a passive act. It is a deliberate choice to conserve your energy, to protect your heart, and to honor your process. Silence allows you to focus entirely on yourself, on your emotions, on your growth, without being distracted by the demands or expectations of someone else. While others may panic or manipulate, your silence stands as a declaration. Your peace is not negotiable, your worth is not up for debate, and your healing cannot be rushed by someone else's discomfort. Through silence, you reclaim control. It is your way of saying without words that your journey is yours alone. You don't need to justify your boundaries, your emotions, or your decisions. Each unspoken word strengthens your dignity. Each quiet moment fortifies your resilience, and each pause reminds both yourself and them that power does not always roar. It often whispers, steady and unshakable. Silence allows observation, reflection, and discernment. You can watch, learn, and grow without being pulled into unnecessary drama. And in that quiet, you discover that true strength is not measured by volume, but by presence, patience, and the unwavering commitment to your own well-being. While you're rebuilding yourself piece by piece, the other person begins to feel the weight of what they have lost. It's not immediate, and it may not even be obvious at first, but as you move quietly through your own healing, as you reclaim your time, your energy, and your sense of self, they begin to sense the absence of control they once took for granted. You are no longer the person who bends at their whims, who validates their insecurities, or who chases after approval. You are no longer a part of their predictable patterns, and that unpredictability triggers a sense of panic. This is the paradox of healing. It is an inward act, yet it ripples outward in ways they cannot ignore. While you are focused on rediscovering who you are, on rebuilding your confidence and reclaiming your happiness, they are left facing the consequences of their actions. The realization that they cannot manipulate, coerce, or provoke the same reactions they once relied upon. The silence you maintain, the calm you project, and the steady march of your self-improvement serve as a constant reminder that they are no longer the center of your world, and that power has shifted. In the process of your quiet transformation, you become a presence they can no longer take lightly. They notice the strength in your independence, the clarity in your decisions, and the peace in your solitude. They feel the subtle but undeniable impact of your self-respect, and this unsettles them because it highlights what they took for granted. Every step you take toward wholeness, every boundary you set, every moment of inner peace you cultivate, resonates outward as a silent message. You are reclaiming your life, and it is unstoppable, untouchable, and unapologetically yours. Panicking is a natural reaction for someone who realizes they have lost the control they once held over you. It comes not from malice, but from the sudden awareness that you are no longer accessible in the ways they expected. They feel the urgency, the tension, the fear of facing their own mistakes, because your healing exposes what they have ignored, avoided, or taken for granted. It is in these moments of panic that their insecurities rise to the surface. They begin to question, to wonder, and even to regret, because they sense the shift in power and influence that they once possessed. Your calm becomes a stark contrast to their turbulence. While you are deliberate, steady, and intentional in your steps toward recovery, they are reactive, impulsive, and uncertain. Panic is rarely rational. It is emotional, chaotic, and revealing. It shows them that they cannot force outcomes, cannot manipulate emotions, and cannot undo the growth that you are quietly achieving. Every decision you make to protect your peace and maintain your boundaries intensifies their anxiety because it signals independence, resilience, and self-sufficiency, qualities that they may have underestimated or even dismissed. This is why your silence matters even more. In the absence of arguments, explanations, or confrontations, panic has no clear outlet except to fester within them. They may try to reach out, they may attempt to control, or they may even attempt to provoke a reaction. But your composed distance renders all of their attempts powerless. It is not vengeance, nor is it a game. It is a natural consequence of your growth and their realization that you are no longer dependent on their presence or validation. In their panic, they are forced to confront the truth that you are moving forward while they are trapped in a cycle of fear, regret, and uncertainty, and that you alone are choosing the pace and direction of your own life. Silence speaks louder than arguments, louder than explanations, louder than any desperate attempt to make someone understand. Words can be twisted, ignored, or used against you, but silence carries an undeniable weight that cannot be diminished or manipulated. It is in silence that your power is fully realized because it demonstrates control, composure, and maturity, qualities that cannot be faked or forced. When you resist the urge to react, to explain, or to justify yourself, you create a space where your presence, your growth, and your resilience are fully visible, and nothing they do can change that. Choosing silence is not about hiding. It is about asserting your worth without begging for recognition. It shows that you value yourself enough to preserve your peace, that you trust in your own journey enough not to seek validation, and that you understand the true strength in restraint. Arguments and confrontations often escalate tensions, provoke defensiveness, and create chaos. But silence transforms the situation into a quiet battlefield where your dignity remains untouched, while the other person grapples with their own insecurities and regrets. Silence communicates what words cannot, that you are untouchable by manipulation, unaffected by provocation, and unwavering in your commitment to your own healing. It forces reflection, triggers self-awareness, and often inspires realization in ways that noise and confrontation never could. In remaining quiet, you shift the focus from their attempts to control you to your own ability to rise above. Every unspoken word becomes a testament to your inner strength. Every calm moment a declaration that you are no longer bound by the expectations or reactions of anyone else. In a world obsessed with immediate responses, choosing silence is a radical act. It reminds them, and perhaps even yourself, that not everything needs an explanation, not every emotion needs validation, and not every person deserves your energy. Silence is deliberate. Silence is strategic. Silence is proof that your growth, your healing, and your peace are untouchable, even as the world around you reacts with confusion, frustration, or panic. Your growth and healing are like mirrors. They reflect not only who you are becoming, but also force the other person to face their own shortcomings, their mistakes, and their regrets. When you rise above the past, rebuild your life, and cultivate strength in silence, it inevitably highlights what they have neglected or failed to appreciate. The more you focus on improving yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the more apparent it becomes that they are still trapped in the patterns that cause distance, pain, or conflict. This is the subtle power of transformation. While you are engaged in the quiet work of self-discovery, setting boundaries, and nurturing your inner peace, they are confronted with the realization that they cannot pull you back into old dynamics. Your progress exposes the stagnancy in their own life, the moments of thoughtlessness, the failure to recognize your value, and the lack of accountability for their own action. And because your growth is visible yet unspoken, it forces them into a position of reflection, sometimes panic, and often helplessness, because they cannot control the natural evolution of someone who refuses to be diminished. Healing in this way is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about reclaiming yourself so fully that their reactions, attempts at influence, or unspoken expectations no longer hold power over you. Your transformation silently educates them. It teaches the cost of neglect, the consequences of disregard, and the undeniable strength of someone who chooses to rise rather than to retaliate. Each day of self-care, every step forward, every moment spent cultivating confidence and joy is like a quiet ripple that reaches them without confrontation, leaving them to reckon with what has changed and what they have lost. The mirror effect is profound because it operates without a single word. Your life becomes living proof that growth and healing are unstoppable forces, and they are powerless to impede it. They may panic, worry, or even attempt to reach out, but nothing can alter the fact that your journey is yours alone, and your transformation serves as both a shield and a reflection of their own reality. It is a subtle, unspoken revelation, one that shows them that while they remain reactive, you are steadily, purposefully, and unapologetically progressing toward a life of peace, freedom, and fulfillment. Energy is one of the most valuable resources you possess, yet it is so often squandered on people who do not deserve it. Explaining yourself repeatedly, justifying your emotions, or defending your choices to someone who never truly listens drains your strength and slows down your healing. When you stop trying to force understanding, when you stop bending over backward to satisfy their expectations, you conserve an incredible amount of energy that can instead be invested in rebuilding yourself, nurturing your passions, and embracing the life you are meant to live. Choosing silence is not passive, it is a deliberate act of self-preservation. Each word you withhold, each argument you decline to engage in, is a shield protecting your inner peace. By preserving your energy, you are telling the world, and most importantly yourself, that your focus is on what matters, not on placating someone else's insecurities or regrets. This energy, once diverted from futile battles, becomes the fuel for your transformation. It allows you to heal deeper, grow stronger, and approach life with clarity and intention rather than with frustration or exhaustion. There is also a subtle but undeniable impact on the one who watches this unfold. While they may panic, manipulate, or try to provoke a response, they cannot touch the calm focus that comes from someone who has learned to channel energy wisely. Your silence, paired with your dedication to self-care, becomes a quiet testament to your independence, your intelligence, and your resilience. They begin to realize that the very reactions they sought to elicit arguments, emotional displays, or explanations are no longer available to them. Their panic is magnified because your energy is no longer accessible for their control or validation. Every moment you choose to preserve your energy is a victory, even if unseen. Each day you invest in yourself rather than improving yourself is a step closer to wholeness. And in this careful, intentional conservation of energy, you begin to embody a presence that cannot be shaken, a strength that cannot be argued with, and a peace that cannot be disturbed. The best form of revenge is not retaliation, not drama, and not proving someone wrong. It is peace. True power lies in the ability to remain unshaken, to walk away from chaos, and to focus entirely on your own healing and growth. When you stop engaging in arguments, stop chasing explanations, and stop seeking validation from those who have hurt or disappointed you, you are creating a space where your serenity becomes your most potent statement. While they may scramble, panic, or wonder what is happening, you are calm, collected, and steadily moving forward, untouched by the storms they attempt to create. This kind of revenge is subtle yet undeniable. It doesn't shout or demand attention, but its impact is lasting because it comes from a place of authenticity and strength. By choosing peace over conflict, you demonstrate a level of maturity and self-awareness that cannot be easily shaken or challenged. It is a form of empowerment that proves without words that your happiness is self-contained, that your life does not revolve around anyone else's approval, and that your inner equilibrium is untouchable. Peace as revenge also reveals a powerful truth. While someone may attempt to disrupt your life or provoke a reaction, they are ultimately powerless against the calm that comes from healing. Their panic, their worry, and their attempts to manipulate are ineffective when met with a composed and silent response. Each moment of serenity you maintain, each boundary you uphold, and each act of self-care sends a quiet but unmistakable message. You have risen above, and their influence over you no longer exists. When you embody peace, it radiates outward. People notice the transformation, the confidence, and the strength in your quiet presence. It becomes a living example of resilience, a reminder that power is not in controlling others but in mastering oneself. While they are scrambling, second, guessing and reacting impulsively. You are moving with intention, clarity, and focus. This form of revenge is not about hurting them back. It is about proving to yourself that your life, your energy, and your peace are yours alone, untouchable, and more valuable than any fleeting victory they might hope to achieve. Time is one of the most revealing forces in life. It has a way of separating truth from illusion, exposing patterns that were once hidden, and highlighting the real differences between those who are growing and those who are stagnating. When you commit to healing, when you focus on rebuilding your life, your mind, your heart, and your sense of self, time becomes an ally. Every day that passes while you are intentional about your recovery serves as proof of your resilience and of your capacity to rise above the circumstances that once weighed you down. For the one who panics, time works differently. Each day you remain silent, each day you focus on your growth, each day you prioritize peace over chaos, magnifies their awareness of what they have lost. They begin to feel the pressure of your absence, not because you withdrew in anger, but because your transformation is undeniable. They panic because time exposes the reality that you are not dependent on their presence, that your happiness and progress are autonomous, and that their previous influence over your life has diminished entirely. Time also demonstrates the stark contrast between two very different mindsets. While you are healing, learning, evolving, and building a stronger foundation for your future, they may still be trapped in reaction, regret, or denial. They see the changes in you and cannot comprehend how someone they once underestimated has not only survived but is thriving. The passage of days, weeks, and months makes the truth unavoidable. Healing is not an event. It is a process, and it leaves those who panic scrambling to catch up, often realizing too late that they are watching someone rise while they remain stagnant. This unfolding over time is also a lesson in patience and trust. It shows you that control lies not in forcing outcomes or seeking immediate validation, but in the consistency of your own growth. Every moment you choose your peace, every step you take toward becoming a better, stronger version of yourself, slowly dismantles any illusion of control they may have had. Time becomes a silent witness to your evolution, a silent teacher to them, and a constant reminder that while panic is fleeting and chaotic, healing is enduring and unstoppable. And as the days pass, their panic intensifies not because of your actions, but because they are confronted by the undeniable proof that your life is moving forward without their influence, without their interference, and without the validation they once assumed you required. Time in this sense becomes both a mirror and a magnifying glass. It reflects your progress and amplifies the reality that while they are caught in anxiety and uncertainty, you are steadily claiming the life, peace, and freedom that you deserve. Healing is an internal process, one that requires no announcement, no external validation, and no witness other than yourself. It is a deeply personal journey where the most significant changes happen quietly, often invisible to the outside world. True healing does not seek attention. It does not require applause or recognition. It is the patient, consistent work of restoring balance within yourself, reconnecting with your values, and reclaiming your energy. The beauty of internal healing lies in its subtlety. Every small step toward emotional clarity, every moment spent reflecting on your experiences, and every act of self-care contributes to a transformation that is both profound and enduring. You do not need to explain your process, justify your choices, or provide evidence of your progress to anyone else. In fact, the less you feel compelled to announce your growth, the more authentic it becomes. The process of healing is often misunderstood by others, particularly by those who panic or who are unsettled by your independence. They may expect visible signs of struggle or drama because that is what they are familiar with, but your quiet evolution defies those expectations. Each day you spend nurturing yourself, strengthening your mind, and rebuilding your life serves as a testament to your resilience, and yet it requires no outward display. Internal healing also teaches the invaluable skill of self-reliance. By focusing on your own emotional, mental, and spiritual recovery, you learn that your happiness does not depend on external approval or the reactions of others. You begin to recognize that your peace is a choice, your boundaries are sacred, and your growth is unstoppable. The quieter you become, the stronger your presence becomes. While the world around you may be noisy, demanding, or chaotic, your internal calm becomes a fortress, impenetrable and enduring. Moreover, healing internally allows you to process experiences with clarity, without distortion from anger, fear, or frustration. It provides the space to confront your emotions honestly, to understand patterns that previously caused pain, and to rebuild a sense of self that is grounded in truth and self-respect. Over time, the effects of this quiet work are unmistakable. Confidence, resilience, and a sense of freedom emerge naturally. And while others may panic or wonder what has changed, your internal healing continues steadily, shaping a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and completely untouchable by anyone who does not align with your peace. In this silence, in this internal focus, you learn the most powerful lesson of all, that the deepest growth happens unseen, unfollowed, and unannounced. That the life you are building, the peace you are cultivating, and the person you are becoming are yours first, foremost, and entirely, independent of the noise, panic, or expectations of others. Silence is more than the absence of words. It is a demonstration of strength and self-control. In a world where reactions are often immediate, loud, and unfiltered, choosing not to respond becomes a rare form of power. It is in these quiet moments that true character is revealed, both to yourself and to those around you. Silence allows you to maintain composure when provoked, to safeguard your energy from unnecessary battles, and to rise above chaos that once threatened to pull you under. When you stay silent, you are making a conscious choice to prioritize your inner peace over external validation, to protect your emotional well-being over proving a point, and to focus on your own growth rather than reacting to someone else's fear or panic. The person on the other side may attempt to provoke a response, to elicit emotion, or to manipulate a reaction. But your silence becomes a mirror showing them that their tactics no longer hold power. It is a quiet declaration that you are in control of your emotions, your actions, and your energy. This form of strength is subtle yet undeniable. It communicates volumes without saying a single word. It signals maturity, emotional intelligence, and resilience in a way that words often cannot. While arguments may escalate tempers and drama, silence maintains dignity, preserves focus, and asserts authority over your own life. By choosing not to engage, you create a space where your personal growth is uninterrupted and your clarity remains intact. Silence also cultivates patience and reflection. It gives you the opportunity to observe situations with clarity, to understand motives without judgment, and to respond only when it is purposeful and constructive. It trains you to measure your words, conserve your energy, and act with intention rather than impulsively. In doing so, you develop a quiet power that is both protective and transformative, a presence that commands respect, not through intimidation, but through unwavering calm and consistent self-mastery. And as you continue to practice this discipline, the effects ripple outward. People begin to notice your steadiness, your resilience, and your ability to maintain balance even in moments of tension. Your silence becomes a testament to your autonomy, your confidence, and your refusal to be manipulated by panic, fear, or insecurity. In choosing silence, you are not avoiding confrontation. You are elevating yourself above it, demonstrating that true strength is not loud or reactive, but measured, intentional, and unshakable. Staying silent shows that you have moved beyond the cycle of drama and that you no longer allow yourself to be a participant in chaos that does not serve your growth. It demonstrates a profound level of emotional maturity, the ability to recognize that not every situation requires a response, not every provocation deserves your attention, and not every person's panic should dictate your actions. Silence becomes a statement of self-respect, a reflection of inner strength, and a clear boundary that communicates without words that you are no longer available for manipulation or unnecessary emotional turmoil. When you embrace silence, you create a space where reflection and growth can flourish unimpeded. You are no longer reacting to external pressures or the expectations of others. Instead, you are responding to your own needs, desires, and values. This shift allows you to reclaim your energy, focus on what truly matters, and build a life rooted in intentionality rather than reaction. Every moment spent in quiet composure strengthens your resilience and reinforces the understanding that your peace is a priority that cannot be bargained away or disrupted by panic or drama. Silence also has a unique way of teaching those around you about your worth and your boundaries. While they may expect conflict, confrontation, or chaos, your quiet refusal to engage forces them to confront their own insecurities and actions. It is a subtle but undeniable way of asserting authority over your own life. By staying silent, you are essentially saying that your happiness, growth, and emotional stability are non-negotiable, and that no one else's panic or fear will dictate the rhythm of your healing. Moreover, silence cultivates self-discipline. It requires the ability to resist impulsive reactions, the patience to allow time to unfold naturally, and the awareness to choose your battles wisely. Each quiet moment becomes a testament to your control over your emotions, your ability to prioritize your well-being, and your commitment to rising above chaos. In this way, silence transforms from a mere absence of words into a powerful tool for empowerment, reflection, and growth. A force that allows you to continue healing while the world around you struggles to comprehend your strength. Through silence, you establish a form of presence that is both commanding and graceful. It conveys dignity, patience, and unwavering self-respect without needing to explain, justify, or prove anything. And while some may interpret silence as weakness or indifference, it is, in reality, one of the strongest expressions of personal power and inner stability. Every moment of silence is a lesson in control, patience, and dignity. It is a conscious choice to prioritize your inner peace over the chaos of external expectations, and it reflects a level of self-mastery that cannot be faked or forced. In a world where reactions are often immediate, loud, and impulsive, choosing to remain quiet demonstrates that you are not a prisoner of emotion, but a steward of it. Each pause, each unspoken word, each deliberate choice not to engage becomes a building block in the foundation of your strength, reinforcing the truth that your life, your energy, and your peace belong to you and cannot be stolen or manipulated by anyone else. Silence allows you to process experiences fully, to reflect on your growth, and to observe the behavior of others without distraction or interference. It is a space where clarity emerges, free from the noise of argument, expectation, or judgment. In these moments, you are not passive. You are intentional. Every quiet action you take is a demonstration of your ability to rise above negativity, drama, or fear, and it communicates a powerful message without uttering a single word, that you are in control, unshakable, and steadfast in your pursuit of self-respect and inner peace. The lesson embedded in silence is also one of resilience. It teaches you that you do not need to justify your emotions, explain your decisions, or validate your experiences to anyone else. It shows that the strength of your character is not measured by how loudly you can argue, but by how calmly you can navigate life despite provocation. Through silence, you cultivate a presence that commands respect not through intimidation, but through consistency, wisdom, and integrity. Furthermore, silence has a subtle effect on others. It forces them to reckon with their own behaviors, insecurities, and limitations. When someone expects a reaction and receives quiet instead, it disrupts their patterns of control and forces them into reflection. They may panic, worry, or feel unsettled, but your continued composure remains unshaken. In this way, silence is not just a protective measure for yourself. It is a mirror that reflects strength, patience, and emotional intelligence back to the world, revealing truths that words alone cannot convey. Each silent moment becomes a reaffirmation of your commitment to yourself, your growth, your healing, and your dignity. It is a practice of self-discipline, a display of wisdom, and a powerful tool that continues to shape your life while demonstrating to others that your strength is steady, unwavering, and entirely your own. While you focus on your growth, they are trapped in their regrets. Every moment you dedicate to improving yourself, every step you take toward emotional clarity, every boundary you establish, highlights the contrast between your progress and their stagnation. They may scramble, panic, or obsess over what is happening, but it is their own inability to act with the same clarity and purpose that keeps them confined to their patterns of fear, doubt, and regret. Your journey becomes a quiet but undeniable spotlight, revealing the consequences of their actions or inactions without a single word spoken. Regret is heavy, and it weighs differently on those who panic versus those who are healing. While you are channeling energy into learning, evolving, and reclaiming your peace, they are left to wrestle with the realization that the control, influence, or power they once had is no longer theirs. They begin to notice the subtle ways in which you are rising, your confidence, your composure, your independence, and it reminds them of missed opportunities, mistakes unaddressed, and the inability to see your value when it was still available to them. Your focus on growth acts as both a shield and a mirror. It protects you from the chaos of their reactions while simultaneously reflecting the truth back to them in a way that words never could. They are forced to confront their panic, their shortcomings, and their regrets while you quietly continue to strengthen yourself, refine your boundaries, and cultivate the life you deserve. The more you invest in your healing, the more their panic intensifies, not because you seek to cause it, but because your life is moving forward independently, steadily, and purposefully, leaving no room for manipulation, confusion, or control. This dynamic also teaches a profound lesson in patience and focus. By dedicating yourself to growth rather than reacting to panic, you develop resilience, clarity, and wisdom. You understand that the path to peace is not dictated by external pressures or the actions of others. It is shaped by consistent, intentional effort toward your own self-improvement. And in this process, while they remain trapped in regret, you are free to construct a life that reflects strength, dignity, and authenticity, one that cannot be diminished, disrupted, or dictated by someone else's panic or fear. Every step you take toward yourself further solidifies your independence. Each decision made in alignment with your healing becomes a reminder that your life is yours to shape, and that their panic is merely a reflection of the difference between a person who is evolving and one who is stuck. You are moving forward steadily, intentionally, and with purpose, while they remain caught in the cycle of their own awareness of what they have lost, what they failed to protect, and what they can no longer influence. True closure does not come from confrontation, explanations, or seeking answers from others. True closure comes from within, from the profound understanding that you no longer need anyone's acknowledgement, validation, or apology to feel free. It emerges when you have fully embraced your own healing, when you have reclaimed your power, and when you have built a life that reflects the best version of yourself. The moment you realize that your peace is independent of external circumstances, that your growth cannot be dictated by someone else's panic or indecision, is the moment you achieve authentic freedom. Closure is a state of mind, not a moment of reconciliation. It is the ability to let go without bitterness, to forgive without verbalizing it, and to release the emotional grip of the past while still carrying its lessons with grace. It is an internal victory, a quiet triumph over pain, disappointment, and the chaos of misaligned relationships. While others may scramble, panic, or try to reclaim influence, your focus remains on your own evolution, your own stability, and your own happiness. This is the essence of true closure, the ability to walk forward without needing to hear the words, see the apologies, or receive the recognition you once sought. The process of achieving closure is both subtle and powerful. Every decision you make to protect your energy, to honor your boundaries, and to prioritize your healing becomes a testament to your self-sufficiency. Every day you spend investing in your emotional, mental, and spiritual growth reinforces the truth that your life is yours to direct, and that you no longer need external validation to feel whole. In this quiet, steadfast journey, you discover the freedom of self-reliance, the strength of resilience, and the depth of your own courage. As closure takes root within you, the panic of others becomes irrelevant. Their attempts to provoke, manipulate, or regain influence over your life are met with calm, dignity, and unwavering composure. You realize that closure is not about erasing memories, changing the past, or controlling outcomes. It is about building a present and future where your peace cannot be disturbed, where your value is inherent, and where your growth is undeniable. In this space, you no longer measure your worth through reactions, responses, or approvals. You simply exist fully, confidently, and independently, and in doing so, you create a life that is untouchable, resilient, and profoundly liberating. Closure, then, is not a conclusion. It is an ongoing state of self-possession. It is the quiet understanding that while others panic, worry, or regret, you continue to heal, to grow, and to thrive. It is the realization that freedom, peace, and fulfillment are not dependent on anyone else, but are cultivated from within, nurtured by your own strength, and maintained through your unwavering commitment to yourself. And so, remember this, while you are quietly rebuilding, growing, and embracing your own strength, the world may panic, question, or doubt, but none of that matters. Your power is in your peace, your dignity, and your refusal to be shaken. Healing is not a race, a performance, or a statement for others. It is your journey, your liberation, and your victory. Stay silent, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Move forward, not with anger, but with grace. Let your growth, resilience, and self-respect speak louder than any words ever could. Because in the end, the quiet strength of a healed heart is more powerful than the loudest panic, and the life you build in silence will always be the life they can only watch in awe. Rise, heal, grow. And let your silence be the most eloquent declaration of your strength. If you want, I can also craft a punchy one-sentence final line that leaves the audience thinking, perfect for delivering at the very last moment of the speech. It can be very impactful and memorable. Do you want me to do that too?